further to the conversation on Tuesday night, hard work is the kind of only thing that you can do. Players have been in, they've been working hard, you've got another game at the weekend. How do you go about changing not necessarily the footballing details, but the details of the performance and ensuring that doesn't happen again?
You can't ensure it doesn't happen again. That'd be foolish if you think you've got a magic formula that stops the unexpected happening, or you can change your fortune just by doing something different. It's not superstitious, but there is an element of fate, but you can do things to alter fate. You can put things into your favour, and we've got to change possibly our mindset a little bit. We've got to be more upbeat. We've got to believe in ourselves a little bit more, and the staff can help them do that. We can be positive in training. We can enjoy our work. The last thing you want to do is if it's become a drag coming into work. And I said to the players yesterday, and I said it to them after the game on Tuesday, I wasn't blessed to be a professional footballer, so I've made the most of this, and I really enjoy it. It's a job I love, and I know they all love it. So we shouldn't be blasé about the chance that we've got an opportunity to do a job that gives us so much pleasure. And the reason why we do this job is because we're good at it. And if you weren't good at it, you wouldn't be in the industry. So that's what you have to be reminded of every now and again. And then we've just got to be positive in our approach. I think when I walked past before, I heard Sean saying about, if we've got the ball, the opposition can't score, and that's very much the case. But I don't think there'll ever be a time when I'll be manager of Accrington and I'll set up to try and get a 0-0. It's not on me makeup. I don't really like it when people say team's DNA or my DNA, because I don't think that's a good analogy. But it's not the way we operate. It certainly isn't my ethos on football regarding how to play the game. And my philosophy is that we'll play as well as we can, we'll work as hard as we can, and we'll try and score as many goals as we can. And that'll be the case when we play Lincoln on Saturday.
You'll have had bad runs, bad times in your managerial career. This probably isn't the worst. Does it help? Does it help that you've been there before and you can go to the well and draw on that?
Of course it does. When you think about things that have worked in the past. But this has happened to us on a regular basis. It's whether it's in October or November or December. And sometimes we have good months. I once won manager of the month in December, I think, or November. So you can't get too wrapped up about it. You just got to focus on working hard, trying to win games. And listen, you got to stop saying that. Listen, because you're not listening. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking, or you'd have earphones on. You've got to. Things that took go out of fashion is hard work, winning games, and you're going to have disgruntled supporters. I've never been one to say, they should beat us because they're on more money than us. My answer to that is because they drive a better car or eat better steak than you. Doesn't mean they're better footballers than you. And that's always been my philosophy as a player as well. So fans are going to be disenchanted, disgruntled, because they get to the place where playing Sheffield Wednesday and Sunderland and Ipswich is the norm now, where they could only be thought upon as pipe dreams years ago. It's the norm for me now as well, so I know that we've got to improve and we've got to compete better in this league. It's a tough league. I'm not the only manager who's saying it's an unforgiving league, and we've just got to find a way to try and win as many games as we can between now and the end of the season.
It's certainly unforgiving in the sense that lots of teams towards the bottom have changed manager, and other ones happened this week with Simon Grayson leaving Fleetwood. I suppose that shows what's at stake, doesn't it?
Is that an indirect question as if I'm fearing for my job? That comes part of the territory. That's what football's about. And the person who takes the brunt of it is the manager. I'm not daft, you know. I get that. I've never been scared to put my head above the parapet, and I won't now. You know, we've got good players in here who've had some terrific results this season. And there's no reason why we can't get back on it, onto that level of performance. And the level of performance improves, your results generally go hand in hand. It's not overnight that. You know, you can still play well and not win, as we did against Plymouth. But I was disappointed with the performance on Tuesday. Very, very disappointed. Probably one of the lowest ebbs of my career. And that's when I get worried, when I'm disappointed the way how we're playing. And I still don't think we've hit the heights this season. But we haven't played as bad as that in any game this season for as long a period. We've had times in this season where we've played badly, but we've also played well in them games. I couldn't see any hint of us playing well on Tuesday, and that's got to change.
Injuries wise, how are the players that have been missing for a while looking? People like Pritchard, Butcher, Joe Hardy. Is there any prospect of having them back sooner rather than later?
Well, Joe Hardy's in training now, and he's played. He's had some minutes for the reserves, which is good. Or the 23s, whatever label you want to give that. So that's good. Joe and Matt, we'll just have to wait and see. They're injuries that you don't want to rush, because they could re-aggravate them or aggravate them again. Something is re-aggravated. Oh, what's going on with me? Active vocabulary today. So we don't want to rush that. And when they're back to back, and when they're fit to fit, and when we get them back, we'll be delighted, because they're 2 important players. Well, 3 important players.
One player doesn't necessarily make all the difference, but to have Colby Bishop back available, is that a real boost?
It's a boost for me personally, because I feel very much aggrieved. I feel wronged by it. You know, we've lost the 3 games that Colby hasn't played in, and he should have been playing in all 3. You know, it was down to an error by a linesman that is being validated by every referee I spoke to, Premiership referees, the head of the referees. So, you know, we shouldn't have lost him, and it was very unfortunate. And I still feel slighted by it. I think it's something that we spoke about, you know, a few weeks ago, about the appeal process. You know, and I know there's been a big independent report going on in football with T.T. Crouch in that. That's one of the things I'd be putting forward. You know, treating football clubs, treating football teams and players in a more fair way than what the system is at the moment.
Will Colby Bishop come back in with that sense of trying to make up for lost time?
You'd have to ask Colby that. I just want him to play the way he's played for most of the season, which is very effective, leading the line. He's a good footballer and works hard and ticks every box you want as a manager. Possibly could score more goals. We can't have everything. If we were scoring more goals, we're playing in the Premiership probably.
Lincoln, they had a heavy defeat of their own in the week, having had a pretty good run. They'll be wanting to respond to that just the way that you have. Are you expecting exactly that?
I just know Michael Abson's got a good team there. They've played some good football. I've watched them a couple of times this season, and they were exceptional against Wigan. They've got good players and they play well, and you know, they'll feel as though they should be higher up the table than what they are, as a lot of teams will. But it's on the day, innit? It's how you perform. A little bounce of luck here or there, and you know, you can snowball from there.
Sincilbank's one of those places you don't have a good record. Does that make any difference psychologically for you personally?
We were outstanding there last year in the league, and if we can get our performances anywhere near up to that level from last season, I'd be delighted.
And I suppose with players that played in that game that are still around, can that help? Can they go into it thinking if we can repeat that?
Hopefully, yeah. But you know, Saturday's on the day. That's the beauty of football. You've always got a chance to go again. I like golf really. You mess up on a hole and you've got another hole to feel better walking off the course.